That looks
PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of We Have the Power is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Welcome to another segment of We Have the Power. I'm your host, Brian Gardner. Please like, share, and subscribe and all those good things to keep finding out about how we're not going to lose our freedoms and liberties. We've got a special message. Right after that, we're going to continue our discussion about whether artists can make a difference with their art and music. And I wore a special t-shirt today to commemorate that. There we are right there. But it isn't just musicians, it's any kind of artist. And we'll talk about that and some other important things right after this important message. If you have the proper tool, usually things just go better. And one of the best tools in keeping our young people away from drugs and alcohol abuse are the booklets from the Drug-Free World Truth About Drugs organization. Now, they have a series of booklets. Certainly, this is a drug that is out there, marijuana, and also they have it in Spanish. These booklets are free. You just go to drugfreeworld.org and you can obtain these booklets and share them with your family members, your friends. And this is a way to make sure they have the proper information, because these booklets do not say, don't take these drugs. They say this will happen to you if you do. And there's also a compilation booklet that has a series of different topics in there. One is alcohol, one is ecstasy, cocaine, crystal meth. We know that inhalants can be abused, heroin, LSD, and even prescription drugs can be abused. So use the right tool, get these free booklets from Drug-Free World, and avail yourself and your family members, especially young people that you know and are in your family, of these booklets, so that we protect our young people and our loved ones from ever getting involved with drugs or alcohol abuse. Very good idea, and they are free. So that is something that makes it even more worthwhile. Get them if you have a house party, have a stack of them, pass them out. If we can keep our young people off drugs and alcohol abuse and other abusive, toxic substances, we're going to be setting ourselves up for a good country, because people who are not abusing alcohol, taking drugs, are not easy to be manipulated or confused. Now, before I get into the discussion about can artists affect positive change in their communities with their art, I want to say something that is often on people's minds a lot. How can I be happy? Now, let me tell you, the way to be happy is a simple line: clean hands make a happy life. If you are speeding, running red lights, not stopping at red octagon stops like you're supposed to before turning right, if you are tailgating people, being rude on the road, the next time a policeman is behind you, you're going to be like, oh boy, I wonder if he knows what I did. Oh, well, all this mental stuff going on, because you've been doing little unethical things. You're kind of like flypaper. All this stuff can stick to you. Now, let's say for a month, you drove perfectly. I don't mean you drove 45 in a 65. You drove the speed limit. You left room behind people. You let people in. You did not run red lights. You didn't do anything wrong while you're driving. Can you see that when a policeman was anywhere near you or behind you, you'd be like, big deal. I'm clean. I haven't done anything wrong. So, hey, I'm clean. I don't have any worry about it. It's the same thing if you steal something from a store, then you go back there later. I wonder if they know. All this mental stuff going on. And the reason it can stick to that is because you have an unethical activity you've done. It can be small. Don't do it. You want to know how to be happy? It doesn't mean you smoke pot to get happy. It doesn't mean you drink alcohol every time you come home after work. It doesn't mean you go to a psychiatrist and get pumped full of psychiatric medication to make you happy. Be ethical. You know what's right and wrong. Don't do it. And you'll be amazed. If you did that for a month, you didn't do one wrong thing, except mistakes, but those are not, thought of like, okay, I'm going to run this red light because I'm going to hurt. You make a mistake, that's different. You take responsibility for it. But if you did nothing unethical for a whole month, if you went into a store where you didn't steal anything, you're walking in the store and you feel fine. You're not eyeballing the security guard and wondering if he remembers you from last time. Is he going to get you? If a policeman's anywhere near you and you've been driving perfectly, big deal. If you are true to your partner, you haven't been flirting with anybody and doing things you shouldn't. When she comes home to give you a big hug, you can really hug her. There's nothing sitting there getting stirred up that, I shouldn't have done that. Now, here's the other trap before I get on to today's subject. If you've done something wrong, especially if it's hard for you to find yourself wrong and take responsibility for it, guess what you will do? Here's your little tiny wrong action that doesn't amount to hardly anything. You will find something they have done and you will blow it way out of proportion. Why is that? To make your little thing so small it doesn't matter. And then you don't feel guilty anymore. Yeah, I did do this, but Marion's always doing this. Man, she's really bad, And you can see the thinking there. If this is horrible, then your little thing you did doesn't matter. And that's justification. Well, why go through all that mental junk? Making her way or him more wrong, your boss or whoever, than they need to be, just to make sure you don't feel bad for your little weird thing you did. So be ethical and you'll find that you feel happy because there's nothing that can stick to you because you haven't done these little things. People are basically good. They know when they're doing wrong things and they will either use justification or all kinds of other subterfuge to deal with these little tiny things that don't really amount to anything, but will cause you to be unhappy. Try it. For a month, just go, I am not going to do one little wrong thing for a month. I'm going to see how I feel. You'll be amazed. Enough on that. Now let's talk about, we have the power as artists. So I'm going to go over some more of my songs because within my songs, I talk about various things that can help a person if they hear the lyrics and maybe change some ideas. And there's me as an artist, hopefully changing a few people's mind and bettering our society. If you're a sculptor, if you're an actor, you're a musician, you're an actress, actor, whatever art you might be in, you're an author. If you put some information lightly in your art about what you are passionate about and you feel should be changed in society, then you can affect change. I swear you can. Now, let me tell you something about reach and withdraw. None of us like it when someone says, I like this kind of food, or I like this car, or you should be this way, and they get this close to you. You should be doing this. They're in your face. It doesn't even give you an ability to reach to find out more. If a person's too far away, it's like you're not even passionate about it. Why should they be? But if you get in that perfect zone where you're just saying, hey, here's something to consider. Now you have some space for the person to move in and ask questions. If you're right on top of them, that doesn't work. You create a vacuum, things will move into a vacuum. So you give some space, give some information lightly, and let people chew on it. And you can affect positive change as an artist with your art. Here's a song I wrote called Satisfaction Guaranteed. And this is about some of the darker things that you can get involved in, again, trying to be happy or having a little thrill when you really shouldn't be. It says, listen to me, baby. Listen what I say. Listen to me, baby. You better change your ways. The first verse, you're walking on the street. You don't care who you meet. A little something for your time. You say he's nice and you smile. Satisfaction guaranteed. Now, we all know what this lady is. She's a streetwalker. You're working 9 to 5, barely staying alive. A small withdrawal from the till gives you that odd thrill. Satisfaction guaranteed. You're taking money from the boss because he's not looking. Next time you see the boss, you're going to have all that mental stuff going on I talked about. Unnecessary. You're getting older, you see it in the mirror. A little pain here or there. To quiet your body and get through the day, you pop another pill. Satisfaction guaranteed. Psychiatric medication, taking pills to feel better, unless it's a medical condition, covers up what's really going on. You haven't got down here to the problem. You're just covering it up, and that never solves anything. Life just rolls along. You're together as a person, but you feel alone. To try to get what you need, a knock on the door, an old friend comes in, he holds you in his arms, satisfaction guaranteed. Now, it doesn't say whether this person is already in a relationship or just lonely, but that doesn't sound like anything more than a physical activity. And that's going to leave you feeling empty as well. There's no love there. There's no commitment there. Listen to this again. Life just rolls along. You're together as a person, but you feel alone. To try to get what you need, a knock on the door. An old friend comes in. He holds you in his arms. Satisfaction guaranteed. Now, in this song, because I play for audiences as a band that is family friendly, I don't need to go into any more. We know what's going on there. That is not the way to be happy. Now, I also wrote a song quite a long time ago, 1984. That's who I'm looking for. Now, this doesn't mean that I want to share with you who I'm looking for particularly, but in these lyrics might be something you say, that is a good person to look for. Maybe I should look for a person like that. Somebody who needs somebody like I need somebody, not somebody who just goes, well, if I'm in a relationship, big deal. I don't need to be honest, Someone who wants that special someone and not one more. They're faithful. A person to believe in, seal every day with loving. A lady who doesn't need to make it on her own. And I want to clarify this. It doesn't mean I want somebody who is low intelligence and just does whatever I say. It's not someone that says, I have to be on my own. And if we get in a relationship, fine, but I'm not really interested. I'm not looking for a person like that. If that person feels that way, that's fine. They can be that way. But that's not what I'm looking for. A lady who doesn't need to make it on her own. Okay, she's going to make it on her own, but she knows that the next things I say are important. A lady who's grown like I've grown, been blown by the winds of life like I've been blown, and known the things that I've known, the criminality, the drugs, the crime, and still she comes home, right? She doesn't go to the bar after work and whatever. That's who I'm looking for. And, I sing this song and people go, yeah, I should talk to my kids about being honest at work. Don't steal from the boss. And, it can wind its way into society. Here's one called There's a Woman that I wrote in 2012. And this talks also about how special a special person to you should be and can be. There's a woman that I've known for a while. Whenever I'm with her, well, I'm bound to smile. We do simple things, not just the sexy stuff. Take a walk, play a game, give a massage that's rough. And I know what she's going through, and she knows what I'm facing too. We're in sync with the reality. There's a woman like no other before. Where it was closed, she's opened the door. Maybe you have some fears, some trepidation about relationships, and you get with this really good woman who supports you and knows you've been through some troubled times. That kind of opens the door to you talking to her and really getting closer. She eases my mind and she turns me on. There's a billion women in this world, but I know she's the one. There's a woman that I've come to love, not like anyone before, who was sent from above. And what I mean by that, she's not perfect. She's not like this perfect woman that somehow I ran into. She has her flaws, but we work it out. My mom said something very interesting once. She said, get with the people whose faults you can live with, because everybody has some. Very good that she said that. She touches me and she's taken my heart. She did this to me right from the start. And we know what we're going through. And we know what we're facing too. Yeah, we know what we're facing too. It's like you're a team. Somebody messes up, you don't go, I'm leaving you. You go, hey, let's work this out. If you can find somebody you can be a team with, team player, that is really enjoyable in a relationship. Now, I tend not to get too political in my songs, but sometimes I feel like there are some important things to communicate. And that's the case with the song I wrote in 1979 called They. When I was young, I never worried. I always thought the world would get by. Then they got us involved in a war in Asia. The reason they did was not for our eyes. Oh, the youth in the 60s, they rose in rebellion, taking to the streets, exposing the lies. Youth had to be stopped. They were exposing too much about that war. So drugs were introduced to silence the cries. Now, that particular verse talks about the fact that various entities were making billions of dollars off the Vietnam War. They didn't care how many Asians they were killing or Americans. Expendable, who cares? We just won our billions of dollars. Bell helicopter, horrible Dow Chemical making napalm, a bomb that sticks on you and keeps burning, And so youth was not involved with drugs very much at that point, and they were exposing the lies and the falsehoods about the Vietnam War. And then someone infused drugs into the peace movement. Timothy Leary is now come out as an avowed CIA agent. And he went in saying, tune in, turn on, drop out, take LSD, and just ruined a generation. And the peace movement went from vibrancy to nothing because they didn't want young people interfering with their billions of dollars while they're killing mass numbers of people in Southeast Asia. And then I go on to say, oh, didn't they kill all our heroes? The ones who would have really made some change, because President Kennedy was going to make some big changes until they got rid of him. Members of our own government got rid of him. One by one, they silenced these voices till all the politicians sounded the same, because they're all controlled pretty much. And that's how they keep them in line. They say, hey, here's some stock options. Well, that's illegal. Nah, no one will ever know about it. And if this particular politician starts getting a moral awakening, suddenly the information that was never going to come out is released to the press on purpose to get rid of that politician who's no longer playing games with them. A new battle cry, the environment, marches and speeches to save the earth. This came after the Vietnam protest era. New technology would be the solution. Oil and gas no longer first. Oh, that rocked a couple fellers at the foundation. Rockefellers. You know what I mean? What if fusion could be realized? And eventually I'll do a whole show on fusion power. They're terrified of it because basically they can't control it. They said, let's make technology a bad word. So the greenhouse effect was devised. Was never based on any truth whatsoever. Got a whole generation, tons of politicians, tons of businesses talking about this lie that human activity is causing the planet to warm, which is a fabrication. Often a financial crisis the world over. I wonder if someone is committing crimes. The Federal Reserve that prints all our money seems to gain a lot of interest at these times because they get interest on every dollar they print for us, which is a complete Ponzi scheme. We need to divorce ourselves from the Federal Reserve and print our own money and do a top to bottom investigation of the Federal Reserve. And I'm telling you, the crimes that would come out of there, whoo, lots. Then a worldwide pandemic was created by those seeking to lower Earth's population. They've talked openly about this. Their submissive and psychotic minions have said, 300,000 people would be better for the Earth. We've got 7 billion right now. That is mass genocide they're planning in our food, our air, our water, and every other way they can possibly think to kill us off. Because they're antisocial personalities and they are very upset about people who are free. Nothing in the COVID vaccine is helpful. In fact, it's purposely planned poison. When I was young, I often worried, through the study of my religion, now I know the world will flourish and prosper. And I don't really need to tell you what religion is, doesn't matter. But I've come to an understanding that we will win out. Good will win out. But we can't be asleep. Oh yeah, let somebody else handle it. All of us are responsible for the condition that this world is in and our country is in. Now, going on to a little bit more of a lighter situation, do you remember the Boy Scout rule was you always have someone with you when you go off camping, a buddy, in case you break a leg or something, they can help you. Well, that's why I wrote this song in 2025 called Two Terminal Universe. Two people. You need someone. You just can't go through life by yourself and think it's going to be okay. It's really good to be in a marriage or be dating someone or have a really good friend that when you need to talk, you can give a text to them and they call you right up, or you go to lunch with them. It's a two-terminal universe. And terminals, I mean, here's somebody sending something to a terminal, like a message electronically. Well, people can be terminals too, because I communicate to Betty, Betty communicates to me. Well, there's two terminals there. Here's what it says. Baby, if I listen to you and you tell me what you're worried about, maybe I can listen to you, be there for you, and help you out. You seem like you need someone to be there and to listen to you. That's what you need, honey. That's what I'll do. Just remember what I said in this verse. It's a two-terminal universe. Everybody needs somebody when the going gets rough. Sometimes you don't feel that strong when things are tough. Another can be so important, being there for you, then you can do a turnaround, help your friend too. This is the end of the story. Final verse of the song. This is the end of the story because there's nothing left to say. This is how this universe works. It was made that way. You can try to go it alone. Very soon you'll see. You'll be more successful with a friend. That's reality. Just remember what I said in this verse. Yeah, it's a two-terminal universe. Now, let's say somebody is listening to this song and they're thinking, well, I'm depressed. I'm not doing good. I better get some psych medication, which has 4 billion side effects. It doesn't solve the problem, just covers it up. Maybe they won't get psychiatric medication. Maybe they'll call their friend Betty, who I haven't talked to for a while. And Betty and Sally were always really good friends, could tell each other things that were going on. And because of my song, Two Terminal Universe, instead of getting filled up with psych medication, drugs is what they are, these two friends start talking together and they help each other. And the final thing is about, I want to speak freely. Certain being with another person in intimacy has its own good feelings. But it's pretty shallow when there's nothing else there than just biological actions. When you back it up with a foundation of friendship and really respect and really love, and then you're very, very, very close with someone, that's wonderful. And this song is called You Only Need a Name. This is a true story about a person I met. I certainly won't give her name, but met you, thought you were fine, looking forward to a good old time. Then you spoke to me a different reality. I guess we're not the same. I can't play that game. You see, I need love when I love someone. You only need a name. Told you not to call me again, time or place, it don't matter when. Our love would have nowhere to grow. Side by side, it would really show. I guess we're not the same. I can't play that game. You see, I need love when I love someone. You only need a name. Now, if I play that song in a particular performance, let's say a gal is thinking about dating this guy and he seems preoccupied with decently what I call getting to Oz. Most guys want to go straight to Oz. And then who knows what, it's like putting a wine glass on a coffee table that one of the legs is broken. So you get this manifestation. No stability, no foundation. Who would put a wine glass on a table like that? Nobody. Who would build a relationship when it's doing this? Or when you base it on only getting to Oz? And I'm sure you can figure out what that means. My viewpoint is, and I hope that you think about this, the journey to Oz, building a friendship, building trust, building a relationship, a foundation. Because if you have a coffee table like this, I'll make this as flat and still as I can. Let me use something else. Watch this. Okay, here's this. Right? Pretty stable. You would put a wine glass on a coffee table like that because you know that the table is going to hold it up. And I want people, when they hear one of my songs, to go, wait a minute. I just met you last week and you're already inviting me over to have wine, get to Oz as quick as possible. No. Maybe some women will put the brakes a little bit and save themselves grief. Make sure the person they're dating is really somebody they want to build a foundation with. All from my song, or all from your acting, or all from your book that you're writing, or all from a speech you do, even a painting, a poem you wrote. You can affect positive change through your art. And we need that because nothing against a person in a cubicle. They just do administrative duties all day, pack it up, go home. They are probably, unless they're doing arts in the evening, probably not going to be the people who are going to put future information there for us to look at and evaluate. Nothing against them. We need clerical workers. However, the reason I'm talking to artists in this segment is artists are the ones who look forward. They're looking forward. What can we do? What could we achieve? And through your art, somebody may have criticized you and said, oh, forget it. No one's going to listen to your lyrics. Come on. They're not going to change that. All this negativity crap. Take it like this. Get rid of it, right? You can make a positive difference in our communities with your art, with your music, with your sculpture, with your acting. Maybe you write plays. You can weave some things into that play that are very interesting and helpful to people going, wow, that was interesting. That whole play, get them thinking. And you can affect positive change with your art, whatever kind of art it is. Or you can affect negative change. If you write negative songs and you do negative plays where the bad guy gets away with everything and he wins, we don't need more of that. Think about creating positive change with your art, whatever kind of art you're doing, and encourage your kids that they can also create positive change with their art that they're doing. And a lot of kids will get very involved with this. They love it. Kids don't have all these losses and upsets that we have had over the years. And you tell them, hey, you could get a bunch of kids to not smoke pot, by just saying, hey, let's be more creative. And suddenly your child goes, wow, yeah, I could do that. Where an adult, a lot of losses and upsets, and they agree with the, the truth of the world, that no one can make a difference, That's why young people are the future of the country, because they're open to ideas. They haven't got a bunch of losses there causing them to go, yeah, no one's going to listen. I might as well just give up. They're not like that for the most part. Young people are like, yeah, I could do that. I'll do it. Yeah, and I don't care what they think, especially if you bring your kids up to believe in themselves, not peer group pressure. Very important for the future of our country, because we have the power to keep our freedoms alive for generation after generation after generation. I've just got a couple of seconds. Next Thursday at 5 p.m., a very important segment. I'm going to be reading the entire manuscript of the final speech that Tulsi Gabbard gave once she had resigned from the security position she was in the Trump administration. This is a beautiful, awesome, wonderful, truth-telling, eye-opening speech. I will be reading the entire manuscript next Thursday. Either make sure you're here 5 o'clock live, Pacific Coast time, or if you can't be because of some other scheduling or you haven't got time, go to the PR Connections radio website, look under We Have the Power, and find the segment on Tulsi Gabbard's speech. You do not want to miss this. You want to go back to it. It's a beautiful speech. I hope she runs for president at some point. And thank you for watching today. Do not forget, clean hands is how to make a happy life. Try it. You'll like it already. See you next Thursday.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.